This weekend marks another opening of the Plimoth Plantation. The 1627 English village is a recreation of the small farming town built by English colonists in the midst of the Wampanoag homeland. The reenactors are busy preparing for the guests, and as Beth Lemonin of Abington gets ready to greet visitors in her 4th season as an interpreter at the village, she takes us to her home and explains some of what life was like in 1627 and the importance of teaching history.
My name is Beth Lemonin, and I'm one of the colonial interpreters here. This year I'll be cast as Tryphosa Tracy, and this is the home of Samuel Fuller. I've been here for about 4 seasons now, and I'm also farm department this year, so not only do my duties consist of being an interpreter in the village, I'm also working with the animals, which is pretty great. We get to greet visitors and cook, keep fires, tend to the house, so it's a pretty good deal. This here is pretty interesting. This is a medicine cabinet. Well, not exactly called that, but this is where a lot of the things are kept that would have belonged to Samuel Fuller, who served as a physician here, even though he wasn't trained as one, but he serves as the physician. And there's a bed here, which would have been put on the floor, because you find only one bedstead in a house, but always more than one person living in a house, so these beds are all put on the floor at night, put up during the day. I think the most exciting thing is when a visitor comes into the house, they get to realize that they've stepped into 1627 and they're coming into my house. And you have books on the shelf and dishes for cooking and a Bible, baskets and colanders, and cooking tools, pots and pans and kettles. And we have a box full of linens here, household linens. All the cloth would have been wove in England or in Holland and brought over. The colonists were not doing weaving, but cloth is very expensive, so though it's something you have as part of your household goods, it is something that has to be brought over from England. You're sitting and cooking your dinner, or talking to a neighbor or reading, and they walk in and they're entering into your life, and you welcome them in and you say, "Hi, how are you?" Of course in dialect, and they can sit down and join you and have a talk about what you've been doing that day, or get into in-depth conversations about why you came here. But I think the biggest thing is a visitor gets a chance to step into your life, and they're learning history in a way that's so different than a book. They're actually getting to live it and experience it. And they realize that they can ask questions that I might not understand, but you can usually find a way to get back to the answer if you have to. But I don't think there's any way in the world you can learn history other than living it yourself. And when a visitor walks into the house and they get to be part of your life, even if it's just for a moment, they get to be part of the life of a 1627 colonist. And there's nothing that beats that. You can't teach that. That's something you have to live, and we're really lucky to be able to offer that to our guests.